Wednesday.
Yeah, thanks, Drew.
Go home. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We're so glad you're back.
Thanks, guys.
Drew Armstrong. He's senior editor for U.S. Healthcare. He has really kept us on the straight and narrow, really throughout this pandemic here at Bloomberg News. So a must-read. His whole team. All right, you're listening to Bloomberg Radio.
Let's get a check of the latest world and national news with Nancy Lyons in D.C. Hey, Nancy.
Yeah, let me get some AMC coverage, huh?
The president is meeting this afternoon with the lead Republican negotiator.
Who cares about the president, man?
It's another round of talks. Bloomberg's Ben Bain says there is momentum on both sides for them to reach a deal.
This is the one area that the Biden administration and Republican lawmakers seem to be willing to work together on, and really both have it in their interest.
Hey guys, I don't know why we're talking about the president on Bloomberg right now. Don't they know we have something important going on here? Yeah, I don't even care about that. What I care about right now is AMC. Let's get that open. God damn it, what the hell is going on here? See, this is why I don't live stream.
One of the most effective vaccines against COVID-19 is under
Why is this?
Health officials in Israel say they're investigating a possible link between the Pfizer-BioNTech shot and heart inflammation in dozens of young men after taking the second dose. Andy Pekos is with the Johns Hopkins School of Public Health.
So my Discord is telling lies, apparently. We're about to check in on AMC in a minute. Let me make sure that my Discord is getting the right link.
There have been 275 cases of myocarditis. In Washington, I'm Nathan Hager, Bloomberg Radio.
Free beer is the latest White House-backed incentive to persuade Americans to get
Who made $1 million today on AMC?
President Biden today
I know one guy did.
action to get more shots.
Holy made $6 million this week on AMC.
Offering free beer on the 4th for those who've received their shot. Global news 24 hours a day on air and on Bloomberg Quick Take, powered by more than 2,700 journalists and analysts in more than 120 countries. I'm Nancy Lyons. Free beer. I think it's free wine. Well,
I tweeted this morning, get your shot so
You can get a shot.
because it protects you from COVID.
Are you guys seeing the image correctly, or is it still frozen? It looks frozen on my screen.
Society, wait. We're just talking about Drew Armstrong, really our go-to head of our health team here in the United States for Bloomberg News, and he and his team are just. Done incredible reporting over the past year. Well, we're talking about the vaccine, talking about the virus. Citibankers apparently tipped back.
Here,
on
let's
the
try that
trend.
again.
Just heard this from the folks over at BNY Mellon Pershing. They talked about being on the road meeting with clients.
Yeah, and in fact, planning a year from now to actually
Okay, there we go. I think we're online now. So hey, I know there's a whole bunch of people here today that have made at least $1 million on AMC. What this stock is doing right now is absolutely insane, and I'm a little bit disappointed that I missed out on it. I came off a night shift at around 6 a.m. and I entered an order to buy put, or rather call credit spreads on AMC. So I would have made a little bit of money, but I had to go to sleep right after. And I slept right through it, and I didn't get a fill anyway. So that would have been nice, but it was a big mistake for me. However, I would not have been one of the people that made like $1 million off of this thing. And there's one guy on my Discord. He may or may not pop in here. He made over $6 million this week on AMC. And I'm not even sure where to begin when you start making money like that. It's pretty nuts. Gandhi, Destroyer of Worlds, is asking, is this shit a pump and dump? The short interest is only 25% compared to GameStop's 120%, but is still mooning. What gives? I can probably actually answer that question. AMC is not short. It might be short squeezing a little bit, but the most important thing here is the gamma squeeze. The gamma squeeze is what's sending this thing to the moon. In a gamma squeeze, you've got a lot of buyers that are not only purchasing shares and driving up the price, you've got people buying calls. And when you buy a call, somebody has to sell that call to you. All right, that's usually a market maker. The market maker is going to sell you a call, but the market maker doesn't want to hold naked short calls. They'd get blown out if the stock moons like it's doing now. So that short call seller, typically that market maker, is going to buy shares as a hedge against losses on their short call. They'll sell a short call and then buy some shares. Maybe not 100, so it's not a full covered call, but they're going to buy some shares. All right, and they're going to drive the price of the stock up when they're buying shares. Now, it's not a big deal. It's not going to send the market flying when there's just a handful of, or a normal amount of calls that people are purchasing. But when retail buyers go and buy 10 million calls, you've got market makers that have to buy a lot of shares to hedge. And as they're buying shares, they're fighting with each other to buy up as much as they can to hedge against their short calls. And that's driving the price up. Meanwhile, you've got a whole bunch of people, just regular people in general, buying shares. And that's also driving it up. So we might not have this big short squeeze like we did with GameStop, where people are refusing to sell their shares. The shorts are getting stuck. They're having to pay whatever they can in order to get out of it, get out of their short position, to just pay off all of these retail traders that are just holding shares. We might not be seeing that this time, but we are definitely seeing people buying shares and buying calls, and that's forcing the hedge funds to buy a ton of shares. You can call it, maybe that's not organic, this isn't natural growth, but it is within the dynamics of what the market allows. And the market allows this types of situation. Charlie, thank you very much for that tip. I appreciate that. I can use that to buy 1/30th of an AMC share. All right, well, Bloomberg is on a break here. Let's go. I hope it doesn't freeze up on me this time. Let's go check out what AMC is doing. So when Cramer calls us unsophisticated investors, this is what he's talking about. He's talking about these straight lines going up vertically. May 21st. So what would that have been? May 21st was last Monday. Or was it? No, it's not quite last Monday. 2 weeks ago. So about 2 weeks ago, AMC was trading for $12. And I'm sure these $50 strikes or these even $30 strikes on calls were probably trading dirt cheap. Pennies, you can get something like that. Now, they're worth, a $30 strike right now is probably worth like $5,000 expiring this week. Let's see. What's the $30 strike expiring this week selling for right now? I guessed $4,000. It's $3,700. So really, really expensive. You got people that were probably buying this thing 3 weeks ago for $5. Now it's worth $3,800. And a lot of people, they're selling their in the money strikes and they're buying more out of the money strikes. So they're making stacks on this and they're reinvesting into it. Now, what did I do? I tried to buy a call debit spread, which was unsuccessful. I had to go to sleep and I missed it. But that's okay. The way I see this going, there's going to be more AMCs. There's going to be more GameStops. James, thank you very, very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate the 420 specifically. It's awesome. Thank you. All right, we got Bloomberg back. Let's see if they're going to start talking about AMC finally, the only thing worthwhile. Is BlackBerry a candidate for another short squeeze? Or gamma squeeze, probably. We saw it start to take off. It's already almost doubled in price since about a week ago. Let's see. All right, Bloomberg's back. What's he got for us? They've got no volume. The guy's mic is too low. Can you guys hear this okay? On a day when the market is up less than 0.1%, except the NASDAQ, that's flat, we've got AMC going up 100%. Now, who's the real money makers these days? Is it the people doing significant analysis?
In other news, Dropbox
Or is it the apes that are buying calls?
Has stake in the company, and AMC soared as much as 127% after saying it would reward small-time investors.
What happened to AMC? Are we halted?
And Splunk both report.
Somebody said AMC is halted.
Live from the First American News Desk, I'm Bill Maloney. Charlie.
Doesn't look like it to me. We got a half hour, 40 minutes of the market left. I bet you AMC keeps rocketing higher. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to drop call debit spread. What's the highest strike we can go?
All right, Charlie, thank you so much. You're listening to Bloomberg.
I doubt this is even going to fill, but we're going to try it.
This is the Big Take, the best of Bloomberg's in-depth original reporting from around the globe.
Let's see if I can get a call debit spread for 18 bucks. Oh, God. I have to log back in. I'm not going to do that. I'm logged in on the wrong account, so whatever. You guys all got my email address now. Now, if I were to buy AMC, it would go down, because that's usually what happens. I FOMO in at the very top. I'm a Theta Gang trader, so when I'm buying calls, that means it's about to go down, and I'm about to lose money. All right, let's see what Bloomberg's got to say here.
All about is U.S. real estate team leader from Bloomberg. Joins us right here in the Bloomberg Interactive Brokers studio. It's all about life sciences.
That's right. You can't do chemistry from home.
Life sciences. That's what they want to talk about, huh?
Kidding aside, that was a quote that we had in the story, but the basic idea is that.
Now, for those that noticed, yes, I did fix my green screen. Finally. I got some great advice on what lighting to use, and it's really made a difference for me. So now I don't look like a ghost on the screen. Vaccines fueling the economic rebound. It's not quite what I'm looking for today. Hey, let's, do you guys want me to draw out how a gamma squeeze works? Would that be helpful to anybody? I can open up some Microsoft Paint and start going for it. Because looking at Bloomberg talk about vaccines fueling an economic rebound, it's not quite what I had in mind for today. Time for the mean investing. Alright, Edward, congratulations on the FOMO in. That's awesome. I appreciate you. Art time, Microsoft Paint. Alright, because we got nothing else to do right now. So let's open up some Microsoft Paint. We're going to talk about how a gamma squeeze actually works. Alright, so the first thing we're going to need here, we need our AMC logo, which I'm going to rip right here off of my PowerPoint. Okay. So you have the stock AMC. Okay. And you've got a whole bunch of retail buyers. Alright, and let me actually get get all this open. We can make it a little bit artistic. God damn it. Alright, and you've got a whole bunch of hedge funds. Alright, and these hedge funds are going to be handling most of the selling, the market makers. These are the hedges, all the people that want to get involved in taking a position on GameStop relative to the retail buyers. So when you have retail buyers that get really excited about a stock, they're going to buy shares, and they're going to buy calls. Right, and as they're buying calls, somebody needs to sell those calls to them. And the person that is often on the selling side of this trade is the market maker. The market maker will sell. They will sell the calls to the retail buyers who are spending all their money to go ahead and buy it. Now, what happens if you sell a naked call and the stock goes up, like we saw with AMC? What would have happened if you sold a call at the $30 strike right here on May 26th when AMC was going for about 20 bucks? If you had sold a naked call and now the stock's at 60, you are getting blown out. You are losing $4,000 on every call that you sold. And now these guys are smart. They don't want to lose all that money by selling these naked calls. So what do they have to do in order to hedge against it? They go and they buy shares in order to hedge. As they're buying shares, they're driving up the price of the stock. And what are retail traders doing when they see the price rising? Are they just sitting there holding their calls? No, you've got more and more people FOMOing in, and they're buying more calls, and they're buying more shares. As they're buying calls, hedge funds and market makers, they're going to sell those calls, and they're going to buy shares as a hedge. So you've got all of this upward pressure. You've got retail buyers putting pressure on, and you've got market makers putting the upward pressure on. All this goes together. And if there is large short interest, you've also got... My daughter doesn't want to join the stream. As you've got the retail buyers buying, you've got market makers buying, everybody's buying shares. What happens to the short sellers? Well, they're either going to short more because the price has gone up. They still think the stock is bad. No, don't move that. Don't. Okay. Baby's going to join us for a minute here until she gets bored and starts fussing for mama. So you've got all the retail buyers buying shares. You've got market makers buying shares. And what happens if you're short? Well, you're going to want to get out of the position because you're just losing all this money. So you go ahead and you buy shares to cover. So short sellers are also going to cover. And of course, to cover a short position, you have to buy shares. So all this is putting upward pressure on the stock, and you wind up with these vertical lines that people like Jim Cramer hate so much because it's an unsophisticated way of trading. But you know what? That's just kind of how it is. All right, Becky. She's got an obsession these days now with things like this, little bracelets and all that. Poor kid's probably going to have a camera in the face from the time she's 2 years old, but that's okay. You want to take her? Yeah, once the market closes, then we'll be done. Alright, so what's the, Yeah, I didn't paper... Who says I paper hands GameStop? I'm still holding my shares at GameStop. 2 Tech Reviews is not correct. I held my GameStop. Now, I didn't take a big position on AMC. I watched a lot of people FOMO in toward the top and made a big mess out of it. I'm not going to do that now. I tried to get into a call debit spread by spending $6 and I didn't even get a fill. So I have no dog in this fight. But for those that did get in, I'm very happy for you because you guys, I need the proper bag for this one. The ones that did get in just made a bag. It looked like this. Made thick money for those that got into it. I didn't think AMC was going to be able to rip like this, but I was clearly proven wrong. But now, how do we hunt the next one? Sean Johnson, I really want to know your story about throwing your entire account into AMC this morning. I really, really want to know about that. Let's check out what's happening with BlackBerry. Everybody's talking about BlackBerry. BlackBerry's next. BlackBerry's next. All right, let's check out BlackBerry's technicals. I don't know how much technical analysis is going to matter here. But let's give it a chance. Because AMC was a screaming buy. And I even covered that when I was doing a live stream earlier this week. AMC was a screaming buy on the technicals. I didn't think it was serious. I didn't really think it was going to go anywhere. I thought the meme was going to fade. But the technicals showed a screaming buy. So what do we have here on BlackBerry? All right. Technically wise, we've had a bullish crossover on the MACD. It started to peel away about here. So probably May 27th. That makes sense. That's right when it started to break out. It broke up above its 50-day moving average, so that's great. We're definitely in overbought territory on BlackBerry, but it can stay there for a really, really long time. I mean, on the technical indicators, this is also a screaming buy. But we don't know. How much does that matter for something like BlackBerry? I mean, does it really matter what the technicals say on it? Or what really matters here is, are we going to get another gamma squeeze? And that can only be achieved if people start buying ridiculously high out of the money call options. So, I don't know, let's do that. Let's participate in this gamma squeeze. I got most of my account in cash right now. So let's see what happens. Alright, $4 right now for a $20 strike. We need the stock to go up 58% before we even make any money on a June 25th squeeze. You know, let's try rolling it back. Let's do 18th. Yeesh. I don't know, guys. It's kind of crazy. But let's go ahead and we'll set up the debit spread just for fun. And because I think we actually might have a chance at a gamma squeeze. So let's spend $6. It's going to make me freaking log in again. Alright, give me the pause button so I can log in with my actual credentials here. I gotta log out and then log back in. Okay, let's try this again. Now, if people start buying calls on BlackBerry, then it'll force the market makers to purchase shares as a hedge, which will drive the stock price up. It won't make a big difference when it's only a handful of people doing it. But if we had millions of people that are simultaneously buying call options, then it can work. And Hopt is asking, smart play is to sell the 16 put on BlackBerry. When's the expiration, Hopt? Looking at this week, 16 put, 193. So $190 to buy. That's not a whole lot of extrinsic value, though. It's only about $120 of extrinsic. $110. Now, 2Tech reviews. I don't use Robinhood for my big account. This is my screw around account. My big account is with Merrill Edge, an actual broker. All right, so let's go shopping here. Let's see what we can find. All right, so it looks like the 36 and 37s expiring June 18th. They have some volume, and they're almost the exact same price. So let's buy and sell. I bet you we can get a really, really positive, very, very low risk position here. All right, let's spend $30. Let's buy a BlackBerry debit spread. The spreads were really wide there, though. This is going to be a tough one. I don't know if we're going to get a fill there. July 11th. What the fuck is wrong with you? Don't worry, guys. I don't actually use Robinhood for my real stuff. This is just for videos because I like the interface. My real broker is Merrill Edge, or Merrill Lynch. And M1 Finance, yeah, that's another good one too for you guys. So I don't think I'm going to get a fill on this. This is kind of a waste. What did Hopt want to do? Hopt wanted to go, he says July 11th. June 11th. He wants June 11th, and he wants to sell the $16 put. You know what? Actually, Robinhood does all the work for me right now, right? So we still have put here. Our break even is going to be $11, $11.45. So not too bad. Max gain be $455 if the stock goes above 16. That is not a bad position, honestly. It's actually pretty good. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to put up $1,600 into BlackBerry right now. But I'll tell you, it is. I do want to get into this though. So let's go ahead and let's replace this order because I'm not going to get a fill. Did I get a fill? No. There it is. This isn't going to fill. Alright. Esco just got into a 10... He got 20 by 30 call debit spreads for the 11th in BlackBerry. Alright, so let's check that one out. Let's see what I think of his position. $700 a pop. Oh, that's his max gain. Alright, so he got in 20 by 30 call debit spreads. So he's buying the 20. This doesn't even go up above 20. How is 20 the highest available strike on this? He got to 15 by 20. Okay. So he got 15 by 20. So he spent $70 each and he got 10 of them. So his max profit, if the stock goes above 20, would be $432 per spread, or $4,300 basically. Tone, I don't know much about UWMC, but we'll come back to that. His loss would be about $700 if it fails. Again, not really a bad spread. That's actually a pretty cool one. I wonder if you could do a little bit better, though. I'm willing to take my max gain down a little bit lower. What if I were to do this one? Max gain 170, max loss 25. I don't hate that. I'm going to do 2 of these. If I can enter it for 25 cents, I'll be satisfied. That would give me max loss of 50, max gain 350. I don't hate on that. Oh, Esco is shallow. All right, so shallow got into it. All right, congratulations. I'm trying to do a similar spread to you. It's tough to get a fill on these though, because the bid-ask spreads are so wide. Like for a stock like this, you've got a 10-cent bid-ask spread, and then you've got another 10 cents down here or 5 cents down here. It's 15 total cents to play with. It's going to be tough to get a fill here. But let's give it a chance. You know what we really should check out is what's the short interest on these things? How do we track short interest? We know how a gamma squeeze works. It's just people buying calls, sending the price of the stock up. The hell was that? All right, let's see what the short interest is here. Short interest, 3.8 million. Dollar volume sold short. Current short volume, 50 million shares. And how many do they have outstanding? So it's less than 10% short shares on BlackBerry right now. I don't think this is really a candidate for a short squeeze based on this. There are ways that you can hide it. 9%, there it is. There are ways that you can hide your short positions. But I don't know how that works. So what's the actual short interest? Well, it's increased, definitely. It's definitely increased, but it's only about 10% organically, so it's tough to say. All right, somebody wants BBW. What is the short interest on Big Black Woman? Where'd that go away? I'm getting a lot of pop-ups on this site. My ad blocker is not doing anything. All right, let's compare it to... What is the short interest now on... I'm getting a lot of pop-ups on this thing. Financials? No, that's not what I want. Short interest. Here we go. Let's check the short interest. It's only 5%, so that's pretty low. Is it Big Beautiful Woman? Maybe it's Big Beautiful Woman. I don't know. I've heard people say both ways. So Build-A-Bear Workshop is actually what it is. I don't like this website at all. I'm getting a lot of pop-ups. But we've only got 5% short. What if we were to... What about Ligand? This one at one point had a really, really high short interest at one point. And for those asking about Coinbase, so I'm still holding. I'm down about... I don't know, what is Coinbase at right now? I think I'm down about 13,000, but I've been selling short calls against it, covered calls. So I've got one expiring, I think it's June 18th. So I've been selling the 260s for premium about a month out. So we're getting close there. I'm up about $200 on that one. But once that expiration gets a little bit closer, my plan is to just roll out to about a month at a time and sell approximately the 260. So I'm looking at getting back about $730 a month to reinvest into shares. It was only about, I don't know why everybody's giving me so much shit about Coinbase except for the fact that I was really excited about it. My account is down about 2% because of Coinbase. I lost 2% of my account so far, and I still own the shares. So it's not a terrible position. If I'd YOLO'd into it, then I think I'd be deserving of the criticism. But I'll be alright because I'm pulling money from the covered calls and then reinvesting into more shares. So, alright, Salvador, thank you. And we're going to immediately do what you just said because you super chatted me. And you want me to look at SOS 300% short? That's not no way. Alright, Ligand's short interest is gone now. 300% short. I see 11% short. Where's he pulling 300% from? I would love to see that, Salvatore. If you could pull up or tell me where I can find 300% short interest, because that would be phenomenal. Yeah, I think Coinbase is still a really good investment at this price. I mean, you know how much volume they probably have on their platform right now? With crypto prices all over the place, you know how many people are probably trading on that site? They're going to be making tons and tons of money. All right, what do we got? All right, Clover Health. Somebody wants me to look at short interest here. Short interest 36%. So Clove is actually highly shorted, and it's increased throughout the quarter so far. It's come off a little bit since April 30th, but that's a significant amount of short interest. So I could definitely see that being a candidate for a short squeeze. What is GameStop? You know, one of the people I work with, GME Resources. What the hell is that? One of the people I work with at my regular job, he bought AMC at about $10, I think. It was the height of the bubble. What did it go up to? He bought at, it was like the very top, it was like the last day. I think it was around $10, or he might have been a little bit more than $10. So maybe it was about $12 or so. And then when it dropped, it came back to about $7, and he sold half. If he's still holding, he printed. He just tripled his money. I think he dropped like $10,000, and so he's probably very, very happy. All right, what is GameStop's short interest? GameStop's short interest right now is 21%. That's still really high, but look where it was on January 29th during the height of that real boom, $4.14 billion, and now it's less than half of that. So short interest, opaque, proper short interest would have been about 50%. I've seen a lot of people describing it being even higher than that. Do you guys understand how short interest can get above 100%? That would be, that can happen. It's not impossible. It's not sympathetic. Hey, Bob, thank you very, very much for that. He says, love you, Mikey. You replied to me on your Poor Men's Covered Call video. That made me about $1,500 in a week. Thanks for making us this free content. You're welcome. I'm glad that helped you. And thank you for giving a little bit back. I really do appreciate that. That's awesome. Do you guys understand how short interest can break above 100%? People are saying it's impossible. It must mean that people are just manufacturing shares out of thin air. That's not quite the case. It is possible to organically have short interest above 100%. Does it make sense? Do you guys want me to go over that? I'll talk about how that happens. Because that is important too. Because you need to be able to understand how that comes to be. So let me go and get that dude again real quick. Let me get my... No, that's not what I wanted. Let me go and get my market maker. He's over here. He's counting his money. He's happy. He thinks he's good at stuff. All right, and then we have a couple of schmucks. All right, let's get Chop. Chop is in here. He's a shareholder. Chop is in. Let's go get our Byzantine Horseman. He's a trader on Robinhood too. And then let's get ourselves one more. Let's get the King. Okay. Now here's how short interest can get above 100%. I'm going to move my man here because he's kind of up in my way. Okay. This is how a short interest can get above 100%. So let's say we've got Byzantine boy over here. Actually, no, we need a short. We need somebody to sell short too. So let's get one more guy in here. Let's grab this dude. Actually, his animation is too small. Let me get one more. All right, let's get Roman. So Roman over here. Now he wants to sell short on GameStop. Now let me get my GameStop logo for the people tuning in. They can. I'm going through all my stock photos right now. Oh, my wife's gonna give me a hard time. Oh, market closes 15 minutes. Hold on. I'm gonna have to go as soon as market closes because I got responsibilities that I haven't been taking care of. Okay. Oh wow, Florin, thank you so much, man. He just threw me 50 bucks. Jesus, thank you so much, dude. You You didn't even give me a comment to reply to. You just said thank you. Thank you very much for that donation. I appreciate it. And Shalom, thank you. Nook and AMC have made him some mad tendies today. Love the Discord and the YouTube. Thank you so much, man. Thank you for giving back and for what you do on Patreon, too. You've been a reliable individual. All right, let's get back to it. So this is how we can wind up with short interest breaking above 100%. Did I move my green screen? Whatever. You guys can just ignore my green screen being messed up for a sec. You can see what's behind me. My mess of a house. Okay. Green screen's fixed. Let's do this now. So here is how we can get short interest above 100%. It's a little bit complicated. Those of you that want to go to the Discord, just look at any one of my videos and it's a link there. It says Join Theta Gang's Discord. If a mod is in here, you can drop it in. Shallow, I'll make you mod. Alright, Shallow, you're a mod now. If you could drop the link to the Discord, I'd appreciate it. Some people want to join. Alright, here's how. Now let's finally do it. I'm ignoring everybody else. How do we get short interest above 100%? Alright, so we've got all these short. We've got this. We've got all these shareholders here. Alright, we've got Byzantine, we've got King, we've got Chop, and we've got a broker / market maker, and we've got a hedge fund. Okay? Now the hedgie says that GameStop is overvalued. He wants to sell short shares. Now, he cannot just go out of nowhere and just start selling shares that he doesn't own. He has to go through a broker. It's not going to be Robinhood. It's going to be one of the real ones that hedge funds use. He's going to go to his broker and says, I want to sell shares of GameStop. I want to short GameStop. I don't have any shares. So I want you to give me some shares. I want to borrow some shares from your shareholders that use your brokerage. And all these guys, Chop, King, and Byzantine, are using a brokerage. And they say, let me borrow some of those shares so I can go ahead and sell them on the open market. And the broker's going to say, okay, I will take shares from Byzantine. He has, let's make it really simple and just say that there's only one share in existence, just to keep it really simple. In reality, there's millions. But let's say the Byzantine, he has one share. He has one share, and he's the only shareholder of GameStop. Okay? We're keeping it simple. Now the broker is going to take, what is that, a triangle? That's not what I want. The broker, how do I rotate this here? Freaking Microsoft Paint. Alright, the broker is going to take shares. He's going to take that share from Byzantine, and he's going to give it to Roman. Roman is going to sell it on the open market so that he can take the money. Thank you, Shalom. Here's the Discord link, guys, if you're looking for it. He's going to take it on the open market. Let's say right now it was only $20. He's going to have to go and sell this share. Now maybe he finds King. Yeah, King is willing to buy it for 20 shares. That's cool. So Roman's going to go give it to King. All right, for 20 bucks. Roman walks out with $20, and now we have Byzantine. He still owns this share even though it was borrowed from his broker. And now King is also entitled to a share. So now both of these are sharing that one share. And as far as they know, they are the shareholder of it. Byzantine doesn't even know that his share has been borrowed unless he goes out and actually looks for it from his broker and sees, you can see that it was borrowed. But most of the time he doesn't even know that it was, he still thinks that he is the shareholder, and King also thinks he's the shareholder. Alright, but what if GameStop now goes up to $100? Now, common sense would tell you that he's going to want to cover his short position. But what if he doesn't? What if he doesn't want to short? What if he doesn't want to buy it back and cover his loss? He doesn't want to take that $80 loss from shorting at 20 and now having to buy back at 100. He can go and actually borrow it further. He can borrow it from King. His broker will facilitate this. And he wants to short again. And he's going to sell it to Chop for $100. We have one share in existence. Byzantine bought it. Roman borrowed it and shorted it to King. The stock went up. He wanted to short further. So he is going to now borrow it again from King and sell it to Chop. You've got two shares short. You're short Byzantine's share and you're short King's share, and meanwhile, you actually only have one share in existence. You have 200% short interest. And what happens when Byzantine realizes what happened? And he's like, actually, you know what? I want my share back. And King says, yes, I want my broker to also stop allowing people to short my shares. And you can do that. You can tell your broker at any time you don't want your shares to be shortable. You want to keep them. So now Roman's going to be like, oh shit, I have to give back Byzantine's share. I have to give back King's share. Now I got to go and buy it from Chop. And if Chop realizes what's happening, is he going to sell it to Roman for $100 so he can return it? No, he's going to say $400, $500. Roman's going to have to pay whatever Chop wants in order to get that share back so he can return it to King. And then again, he's going to have to buy it back from King to return to Byzantine. That is how you can get 200% short interest, and you have that short squeeze where the short seller has to pay any price he can get for somebody to sell him a share so that he can return to his shareholders, to the people that he shorted from. Now that's a big deal. That's how you get 200% short interest, and this is a traditional short squeeze. This is not the gamma squeeze that we described prior. All right. What else? Let's hunt the next one. Let's hunt the next one of these. So where do we see a lot of short interest? Like we looked at BlackBerry already. I think it was only about 10% short interest. Yeah, the stock's at about $15. Let's see if I ever got my fill on it. It's only about 10% short interest, so this isn't a huge candidate for a short squeeze. But you can wind up with a gamma squeeze if people start buying calls. And it looks like I'm not going to get my AMC fill today. It's not very likely. I would still like to. Alright, you want to see the short interest on Coin? I don't even know if it's been out long enough to give us a read on short interest. I can't imagine it being that high, but we'll check. Yeah, we don't even have information on Coinbase's short squeeze. But you want to check Workhorse? Alright, Workhorse's short interest. 38%. That's really high. That's a candidate. If people start buying this up and buying calls, wow, it's up 18% today. Congratulations to the holders. Jeez. This could be a candidate for the next big one. I think it's got a shot, honestly. Let's see, what are the expirations? Let's give it some time, because this clearly hasn't caught the bug yet. What are the June 9ths going for? The volume doesn't look very high, so it would be tough to get a fill on some of these. Let's go to July 16th, because it's actually this is one of the normal expiration dates. So let's see, is volume high enough that we could get a dank trade going here? All right, 480. All right, so this clearly has enough volume. You see, we've got over 1,000 traded today at the $15 strike. What if we were to buy the 14 and sell the 15? I wonder if we can get a fill for about 10 bucks to go $14 max loss to an $86 max gain. Why not? I've got the cash to throw around now, so let's see if I can get a fill on Workhorse. Probably not, again. But what I'm doing right here now is I'm buying the $14 call. And nobody is going to want to sell me that short call. So if a market maker ends up taking the other half of this trade, they're going to buy shares of Workhorse in order to compensate against it potentially flying higher. They don't want to lose all that money. So at least by having some shares in their portfolio, they can make money on those shares if the stock goes up. They may still end up with a total loss, and they will if the stock goes way too high. But at least they have some shares in their portfolio to hedge in case Workhorse blows past $14. I still can't get a fill on these things. It's really hard to enter a spread, it seems like. Michael Termini says, when do you sell here to prevent yourself from being a bag holder? I have a feeling we are somehow going to get hosed again. On AMC, how do you hedge? Let's talk about how much money you made on AMC first. Let's say you made $10,000. You played hard. So what can we do to hedge against a massive loss of $10,000? Let's go and enter a put debit spread. Let's give it until August. Alright, so let's go down here a little bit. Let's say it drops, you think it might be at risk of dropping down to say 46 bucks. So you would buy puts at the $46 strike. All right, those are $2,000. This is kind of a lot. We don't want to spend $2,000 out of the 10K we just made as a hedge in case it drops by August. So what we can do, we can first buy our put and then sell a put maybe... I'm just poking around here. Let's buy this one back, or sell it. Sell that one back. So now you have given yourself about... Why is it costing so much? Oh, I screwed up. Yeah, buy a put. Okay, so when you enter a position like this, a put debit spread, it's going to cost you about 147. Why is it so expensive? This is kind of weird. But here's the concept. You'll have to poke around a little bit. The idea is you're buying a put debit spread. If you buy a put and the stock tanks, you'll protect yourself from losses and you potentially even make money. Just by the stock dropping, a put will rise in value. We know that. But if it's very, very expensive to just buy this put right now, so what you do is you go back and you sell another put at a lower strike, and that'll give you some of the money back. For this particular spread right here, you are paying $147 for every $200 worth of protection to the downside. So if the stock were to crash back down to 20 bucks, then you're making 52 back per spread. This is actually kind of shitty because this is way too expensive. I don't know what's up with that. Volume is really low. Spreads are kind of wide. I don't really like it. But here's the concept here. High IV is what's making these so expensive. But if you enter to buy a put debit spread, you'll give yourself protection for every block of 100 shares that you're in. So doing this, I don't like these prices. You'd have to shop around a little bit to find something a little bit more palatable. Maybe if we go to... Maybe if we go to like July 9th, it won't be quite so expensive. Nick, thank you very much for that. Oh, you just paid me in pounds. All right, that's serious. That's like valuable currency. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And congratulations on your big win on GameStop. All right, let's try this again. Let's go a little bit closer to expiration. We don't have these ridiculous prices over here. Let's go ahead. Let's buy the 58 and sell the 56. This should give us a little bit more like a 100 to 100. All right, market closes in 2 minutes. I'm almost done. All right, we got Becky back. Okay. No. Calm down. Here's Binky. What? You want to play with this? No? Do you want to play with this? Yeah, there we go. Here's a good toy. Okay, the idea here, you'd have to shop around again to find a good price. You want to look for something that's going to give you about a 50-50 on max gain to max loss. The idea here is that if the stock tanks, this will protect you by giving you some of your money back. All right, you can stand to profit by only putting up, you should be able to get a better price than this. Let's say you can find a position that will give you $60. You should be able to get, for 60 bucks, protection for every block of 100 shares to the downside. It'll protect you the difference between 60 and 100 because we have a $1 wide spread. So you have a max gain of $40 for every 60 that you put in. It'll give you 2/3 protection against loss. So if you made $10,000 and you're willing to take $2,000 for a hedge, then you should be able to get, what, about 100, 200 of these. So with 200 contracts, with 200 short spreads, that'll give you about $6,000 worth of protection. So you can sort of cap your gain, or you can protect yourself from losing more than $4,000 that way. But you have to give back $2,000 in order to do that. So. And this is the last question because I got to get going here since the market has just closed. What is my take on Coinbase? I think Coinbase is a really, really good investment at this price. I think we saw a floor around the 220 level. I think it's only going to go higher from here. The amount of volume that we must be seeing on Coinbase as a platform, let's see. Coinbase. I don't want the stocks volume. I want to see if I can get the actual volume on Coinbase, like how much is actually being traded. Yeah, exchange volume. Volume, $761 million of Ethereum, 521. The amount of money that these guys are making over 24 hours. If you're getting 1% of this, you're getting millions and millions of dollars a day in commissions on this. That's insane. They're going to make money. So I think, yeah, I might be the typical Coinbase investor, but I think this is a really good investment at this price. So that's why I haven't sold a single share. I've been selling covered calls and reinvesting the premium into more shares. I bought 100 and then I got another 11 from covered calls. So I'm happy about it. Some of you guys might not like Coinbase because it's not the best exchange. I agree. There's other exchanges that are better. But most people aren't going to Kraken or Gemini or Binance when they want to invest in cryptocurrency. The retailer, the regular person, is going to Coinbase. And since they've increased their budget for marketing, they're only going to invest more in Coinbase. So I think this is a good investment. I'm holding it. I'm not selling it anytime soon. I'm a little bit disappointed that it hasn't gone up ever. But we're finally starting to find a floor. I wish I could get the technicals on it, but there's just not enough data yet. I think this was the floor right here. And I started reinvesting around this price. So that's my take on it. So I gotta get going here. It's about time, but I want to thank everybody who joined me for the last 50 minutes. I appreciate it. And especially thank you to those that sent me those super chats. You guys are fantastic. Appreciate you.